Picture this. The man known worldwide as the King of the South doesn't walk into court to face a music label, a lawsuit, or a rival rapper. Instead, he walks in to battle his own flesh and blood. T.I. has officially taken his son, King Harris, to court. But this isn't over music, money, or property. This is about something deeper, something permanent. Custody of King's child. T.I.'s own grandson. T.I. is suing his own son for custody of little King Jr., essentially declaring that King is unfit to be a father. That's more than just family tension. That's a public declaration of war inside one of hip-hop's most famous families. And it raises a question no one thought we'd ever ask. What happens when a father decides his son is no longer capable of being a man? This feud has been simmering for years. Violent arrests, public outbursts, viral Waffle House clips, reckless spending, and fights at football games. But now, it's hit a boiling point. What was once embarrassing family drama has exploded into a legal showdown that could permanently split the Harris family down the middle. Before we go further, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate it. So, how did things get this bad? And what happens if T.I. actually wins custody of his own grandson? To understand why T.I. made this drastic move, you have to know who King Harris really is. On the surface, he had it all. Born into wealth, fame, and opportunity, King grew up on TV in T.I. and Tiny, the family hustle. From a young age, he had cameras in his face, designer clothes on his back, and his father's legendary status protecting his every move. But King wasn't interested in playing the polished child star role. While his siblings stayed quiet, King built a reputation for rebellion. He wanted to live fast, talk loud, and prove he wasn't just T.I.'s son. He was his own man. And so began the chaos. Fights with strangers, viral Instagram rants, arguments with his parents caught on camera, and a string of legal run-ins that made headlines for all the wrong reasons. Instead of stepping into his father's shoes as a young mogul, King seemed determined to burn everything down. And T.I.? He tried to guide him at first, but eventually, even T.I.'s patience started to run thin. If you've followed King Harris over the past couple of years, you've probably seen the clips. The viral Waffle House meltdown, where King puffed out his chest, cursed out employees, and acted like the toughest guy in the room. The Instagram lives, where he screamed at his parents and bragged about his street credentials. For most parents, that would have been enough embarrassment. But for T.I., it was worse, because his son wasn't just embarrassing himself. He was embarrassing the family name. Then came the arrests. Over the past year, King's reckless behavior finally caught up to him. He wasn't just acting wild online anymore. He was getting picked up by police. Disorderly conduct, public fights, and allegations of drug possession. Every mugshot felt like another nail in the coffin of T.I.'s hope that his son could grow up. And when you combine legal trouble with fatherhood, that's where the line got crossed. The final straw came when King became a father himself. At just 19 years old, he welcomed his son, little King Jr. For T.I., that should have been a moment of joy, a chance to see his legacy continue through another generation. But instead, it became his worst fear. T.I. looked at King and saw not a responsible father, but a reckless child raising a child. He worried about the baby's safety, stability, and future. And so, in a move nobody saw coming, T.I. made the decision that shocked the world. He filed for custody of his grandson. Think about how deep that cut must have been. For King, it wasn't just his father doubting him. It was his father stepping into his life with legal force, basically saying, "You can't handle being a dad. I'll do it for you." That's the kind of wound that doesn't heal easily. Now, here's the thing. T.I. and King's relationship has always been messy. This isn't the first time they've clashed in public. Remember the infamous Falcons game? T.I. and King almost got into a physical fight in the middle of the stands. Father and son screaming at each other while cameras rolled. Or the Instagram Live where King cursed out T.I. and Tiny, saying he grew up in the trenches, not a mansion, while his parents laughed in disbelief. These weren't private arguments at the dinner table. These were public meltdowns broadcast to millions. And every time, it made one thing clear. The bond between T.I. and King was broken, but now, with the custody battle, these arguments feel less like family drama and more like evidence. Every outburst, every meltdown, every fight is being replayed in the court of public opinion, and King is losing that court fast. So, what does this custody case actually look like? On one side, you have T.I., a multi-millionaire, respected rapper, businessman, and father of 6. He's built an empire, stayed married to Tiny through decades of ups and downs, and provided for his family in ways most people can't imagine. To a judge, he looks stable, wealthy, and responsible. On the other side, you have King, 19 years old. Arrest records, viral fights, reckless behavior, and public tantrums. Yes, he's trying to start a rap career, but in the eyes of the law, that doesn't outweigh the evidence of instability. So ask yourself, if you were a judge, who would you trust to raise little King Jr.? That's the battle playing out right now. And it's not just about custody. It's about pride, legacy, and reputation. When news broke about T.I. suing for custody, the hip-hop world couldn't believe it. Rappers are known for family loyalty, even when things get messy. Rarely do we see an artist drag their own blood into court. Some insiders are siding with T.I., saying he's doing the right thing to protect his grandson from growing up in chaos. Others argue T.I. is being controlling, that he's humiliating his son instead of helping him grow up. But no matter which side you're on, everyone agrees on one thing. This is one of the wildest family feuds we've ever seen in hip-hop. Here's the truth. This story isn't just about a custody battle. It's about a generational war. T.I. came up from the streets, fought for everything he had, and built his empire brick by brick. King, on the other hand, was born into luxury but craves street credibility. It's the classic father-son clash. The parent who sacrificed everything versus the child who doesn't recognize the value of what he was given. But now, with a child in the picture, it's bigger than ego. This isn't just about T.I. versus King. It's about the future of little King Jr. And that's why T.I. isn't backing down. So, what happens if T.I. wins? He takes custody of his grandson, raising him under his own roof, while King watches from the sidelines. That would devastate King, not just as a son, but as a man. But what happens if King fights back? Could he prove himself responsible? Could he finally step up and show that he's more than just the wild child of hip-hop royalty? Those are the questions everyone is asking right now. And until the judge makes a ruling, the world will be watching. At the end of the day, this is more than gossip. This is about family, responsibility, and the heavy weight of legacy. T.I. might be the king of the South, but right now, he's fighting to be king of his own family. And King Harris? He's standing at a crossroads. Either he grows up fast, takes accountability, and proves he's ready to be a father, or he loses everything he's been fighting for. So here's the big question for you. Do you think T.I. is right to take his grandson away from King? Or is this just a father going too far, trying to control a son who wants to live his own life? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Remember to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. And as always, stay active.